So, hello fellow English speakers, how you going? This is Glenn with Australian English 101, Aussie Lingo 101, whatever you want to call it. And this is a response to Go Natural English by Gabby Wallace. And she actually had 6 English expressions that English speakers don't actually say. Now, you have to remember, this is her observation, and this is her encounter with the English language. And my encounter with the English language is actually a bit different. Now, my use of English changes depending on who I'm talking to. So, I talk like this when I was going to La Trobe Uni in an academic setting to make myself clear, and also when talking to foreigners. But when I'm talking to Australians, I like to talk like this, mate. Yeah, what you doing? Get out of here, mate. I actually like to talk a bit different. So, the first expression was, may I practice my English with you? Well, native Australian speakers, we generally don't say that because we have no need to. But we do use it when we are putting another field of endeavour in there. So we don't say, may I practice my English with you, because we don't need to. We would say, may I practice my martial arts with you? That's pretty common. Australian English speakers say that all the time. Can I practice my singing with you? Can I practice my guitar with you? And generally, that person also knows how to do those objects, and you're actually just learning it. So you can actually use that. But if you're a foreigner, it's quite acceptable for you to say, can I practice my English with you? Because we understand you're learning. Like, I actually say, can I practice my Cantonese with you to my wife? So, same thing. So it's acceptable to say. Obviously, she's hasn't really encountered it that much. Okay, the next one is, I am fine, thank you. And you? Yeah, well, that's a bit awkward. I generally don't say, I am fine, thank you. And you? I usually just say, I am fine, thanks. And you? So I do use it, but without thank you. Just, I'm fine, thanks. And you? Or, I'm fine, mate. And you? So, yeah, we generally don't use I'm fine, thank you, and you, because thank you at the end of it just makes this sentence a lot harder and unnatural to say. So if you want to say I'm fine, thank you, and you, that's acceptable. We'll understand it. But to make it more fluid, just say I'm fine, thanks, and you. I actually say that all the time. Okay, the third one is, how do you do? That reminds me of a Roxette song. How do you do the thing that you do? Yes, my singing voice is very terrible. I've never actually used how do you do. I like to say, how are you going? G'day, how you going, mate? What you up to? How have you been? Expressions like that. So how do you do? No, with my observation, we generally don't say it. But I would say some English-speaking people do say it from around the world. It's just not my experience. Okay, the next one is negative observations. And this is actually very Australian. You will encounter this all the time in Australia. I use it all the time. I just go up to someone and say, gee, you look tired, mate. If I haven't seen you in a while, I say, gee, you're fat, aren't you? And this is pretty common. You say to someone, oh, you're wasted, mate. That means they drank a lot of alcohol and they're just gone. They're just gone. So negative observations. It's more common with our friends, very common with friends, I'd say. With strangers, it is acceptable. But generally, if you don't know someone, you don't pick on them because you don't know what they're going to react, what the reaction's going to be. If it's a friend of a friend, you can say, "Oh, I love your hairstyle. You look like a Mardi Gras boutique or whatever." I don't know, whatever I'm bloody saying. So negative observations are very common in Australia. And people who come from overseas get very surprised because, especially, like, I work with a lot of Nepalese, and they're pretty polite to each other. Negative observations are, when they first come over here, they're not really accepting of it. They grow to actually accept it, but it's just not part of their culture. As well with the Chinese, they're very formal and polite. You don't actually go up to someone and say, "You're fat," or "I think you're growing ugly." But in Australia, that's pretty common. Okay, the fifth one is personal questions, like, "Are you married?" Personal questions. Yes, Gabby said that with a lot of other cultures like Chinese and Nepal, they're just direct. They just actually say that. In Australia, yeah, you can actually say that, direct personal questions, but depending on the person, it's actually frowned upon as well. So we're a bit more reserved in saying personal stuff and giving out personal information. It's just, I'll just say it's not really accepted. So that's pretty much the same as what Gabby's experience is. Unless you're willing to give that information, which me, I don't care. I just say it anyway. But it's, until you know that person, just don't really say that stuff. Okay, the last one. How much rent do you pay? We don't have a problem with that. How much rent do you pay? How much your car costs? How much is the movie ticket? But some people actually get a bit more reserved when it goes, "How much do you get paid?" So how much you pay for things is okay. How much you get, we're not really going to say. So I hope this confuses you more, in that those questions, it depends on the actual English speaker, and everyone's experience is actually a lot different than everyone else's. Have an awesome coin collecting time. That's my other channel. I'll leave a link down below to that. But English speaking time. English is an awesome language. It's changed in the past 1,000 years, and in the next 1,000 years it will change again, just like every other language. Hooroo.